Welcome everybody to both sides of the conversation. I'm your co-founder, John Henry. You guys know today is Thursday, so you know what that means. There's another educational presentation that's going to happen tonight. We have a phenomenal sister, a local here in the Bay Area. She's going to talk some more about financial literacy. You guys know here at both sides of the conversation, our motto is we want to intentionally give the information, the sauce, the game to the community. We want to teach them the things that sometimes we don't necessarily always get. And that's what we're trying to do here. And we always want to continue to support our Black and brown businesses. So what a great day to have a phenomenal sister from the area come on to help educate our people about financial literacy. With that being said, I just received my book. You know, here we support all of our Black and brown businesses. We have another phenomenal sister who's teaching financial literacy, helping build wealth, Nasima McElroy, here in the Bay Area. Financially intentionally, she's doing some phenomenal things. Her book is out. Please go out and support our sister. Go to Amazon, pick up the book Smart Money, because definitely we want to make sure that our community gets the information when it comes to these finances. We got to do a better job. We got to be investing, and it's a lot of information in that book. And then tonight, this sister is going to give us some phenomenal information as well. As you guys all know, here in the Bay Area, we are having a phenomenal rainstorm. So please be safe out there. You guys are commuting, getting home, driving around. And with that being said, the rain is causing some spotty Wi-Fi service, impacting a little bit of the network capabilities. So if you guys see it a little choppy night, please be patient, understanding, as our Wi-Fi signals when we have these type of storms are not so great. So just happy to be here. With that being said, we're going to start getting into the program. You guys know this is Women History Month. Every show we are going to highlight a phenomenal woman of the month, to highlight some of the work that women have did here, not only in this country but for this month. So with that being said, we're going to connect with tonight's woman spotlight. As well as, I want to say it again, like I did on Tuesday, I was notified that it is also Social Worker Month. So I want to say a big shout out to all our social workers out there who are doing a phenomenal job working with the families, doing some of the grit and grind work, some of the stuff behind the scene. And a lot of times they don't get the credit that our nurses and doctors do, but this is their month as well. So we want to highlight and support them. So shout out to all you social workers out there and all of our healthcare professionals that's been grinding it out during this pandemic, making sure that there's resources, working long hours. We just want to say thank you. Our environmental services, custodial people, sometimes they don't get the homage and don't get the the pat on the back for the great services that they do. So today, here at Both Sides of the Conversation, we want to say we thank you, we salute you, and we love you all for the work that you do. Continue to keep doing the work to impact our community. And hopefully before the end of the month, we'll be able to try to highlight some of our social workers that are impacting our communities. So with that being said, tonight's community spotlight for our women, we are highlighting our sister, Oprah Winfrey. She is a Black American talk show host, television producer, actress, author, philanthropist. She is known for her talk show, The Oprah Winfrey Show. She was broadcasting from Chicago, which was the highest rated television program of its kind in history, and ran national syndication for 25 years. She was named Queen of All Media. She is the richest African American of the 20th century in North America, the first Black multi-billionaire, and she has been ranked as the greatest philanthropist in American history. By 2007, she was sometimes ranked as the most influential woman in the world. Shout out to that sister here. Like, what a great honor to honor her tonight here at Both Sides of the Conversation, this virtual media. If I could walk in her steps a portion of the way, I'll be blessed and happy. But shout out to Oprah Winfrey for all the things that she's done for the community, all the things she continued to do. And we just wanted to highlight and thank her for the things that she is doing. So with that being said, we're going to start moving into introducing our guest tonight. I'm going to bring her up to the screen, give a quick brief introduction for this sister here. Just happy to have her on tonight. I'm going to bring her up. Lemetria Edwards. She is a technical director and a producer of a Black Balance Fitness and Nutrition LLC, Black Balance Fitness TV on YouTube. She also is an independent life insurance agent. She's worked with junior broker licensing, coordinating teams to get better in the CDH and the Unity hierarchy. Her goal is dismantling financial literacy information, helping families and individuals build foundation for financial freedom. What an amazing story. A powerful young lady here that's doing some amazing things. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to her and let her further introduce you guys. And we're going to get ready to jump into this presentation. So with that being said, welcome, Ms. Lemetria Evans. Turn your mic on. You having a mic moment like me.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Don't feel bad. I just did it last week on one of the important shows, but go ahead. We can hear you now.
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. Hello, welcome in everybody. I want to first start with showing my appreciation for Mr. John Henry and all of the staff at both sides of the conversation for this valuable opportunity. I am truly honored to be here today on this unique platform. As he told you before in the introduction that he gave, my name is Lemetria Edwards, also known as Lemetria My Aunt. I am the host of Black Balance Fitness TV on YouTube. And now, before I tell you more about myself, Fit Financial, PHP Agency, and building a foundation of wealth, I want to ask you all to look at this presentation through three sets of eyes. Okay, so the first set of eyes is I'm here to teach, educate, and elevate. So please take notes, and I'm going to ask you to save your questions until the end. The more, the better. Uh, if we can all agree to that, that'd be wonderful. The second set of eyes is for the opportunity. Fit Financial is looking for new business partners. So anyone that you know, be it yourself or someone else that may be interested in making additional income on a part-time basis, please don't hesitate to send them our way. We are currently looking for sharp people to build a strong team of entrepreneurs to compete in the financial industry. So if that sounds good to you, please reach out. And lastly, the third set of eyes is on the client side. Now, keep in mind, I'm not here to sell you anything, but the best word of mouth referral. So the value that you receive from today's experience, if you wouldn't mind sharing that with as many people as possible to spread the word of what Fit Financial is doing to help us grow a financial foundation in our communities and families for generations to come. Okay, so with all that being said, let me tell you a little bit more about myself, and then I'll get into what we're doing with these financial foundation here. Ready? Okay, so let's get into it. Again, let me remind you, my name is Lemetria Edwards, aka Lemetria My Aunt. I am the technical director, producer, and host of Black Balance Fitness and Nutrition LLC, Black Balance Fitness TV on YouTube, featuring our new financial literacy series, the Financial Fitness Forum, and brand new, the Mentality Masterclass will be premiering this month. I'm also an associate junior broker with PHP Agency. I'm the owner operator of Fit Financial Services and Education and the licensing coordinator for Team B2G, which stands for Better Together, and the Carpe Diem the Carpe Diem Base Shop and the Unity Hierarchy. Now, don't be alarmed if you don't quite understand what all of that means. It's really more of just a shout out to the squad, okay? So a little bit more about myself. I grew up all over the Bay Area. I attended 2 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 5 high schools before pursuing various vocational pursuits and traveling the world with my military husband, taking online classes of business and everything else I could get my hands on. I'm the middle child of 5 siblings. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, not in that order. I'm a mom of 1 and auntie of 13 counting. I was recruited into the financial industry just over 6 months ago with PHP Agency after losing both of my full-time jobs at the beginning of a pending divorce from a very toxic marriage. It was a tumultuous time in my life, and I craved an opportunity for freedom and independence in more ways than one, obviously. I want to say I have like a sorted work background. Everything from cosmetology and retail to food service and face painting. But I knew none of these jobs would get me anywhere near my true and deepest dreams, goals, and visions. I really needed a big career change. And so that's what sort of sparked my interest into the financial industry. Um, Before that, I attempted to sort of think outside the box. And I knew I needed to build something stable and lucrative for myself, something that could fund the necessary resources, but also add knowledge and value to my life, my family, my community. Something that could help me fulfill my soul's purpose in this lifetime, so to speak, while also needing to balance my new life as a single stay-at-home mom, especially after the pandemic and everything that hit. So my first addition to my family of businesses was a sporting goods website, blackbalancefitness.com, which sparked the launch of Black Balance Fitness TV on YouTube, and also a partnership with my sister selling beauty and wellness products with It Works. Alongside another website, Black Balanced Fitness Nutrition, which is currently on hiatus. So look out for a grand reopening soon. And finally, culminating in Fit Financial Services and Education and Black Balance Fitness Financial TV show on YouTube. Our tagline is "It's time to get financially fit." Fit standing for freedom, innovation, and transformation. And this is my company within a company working alongside some of the top competitors in PHP agency. Um, I really did get recruited to one of the winningest teams in the agency, and the numbers show it. So let me tell you a little bit more about PHP. Our mission is simple: saving America by doing the impossible, right? Bringing life back to the insurance industry. And what we mean by that is when you think of insurance, you sort of think of, some old, pale, door to door salesman, trying to get you to sign a contract, right? PHP Agency is one of the most diverse and fastest growing financial marketing organizations in America right now. PHP stands for People Helping People. I don't know how many of you may have heard of PHP Agency, but we were started back in 2009 in Northridge, California, with one office and 66 licensed agents by Mr. Patrick Bet-David. Our CEO, Patrick Bet-David, is a renowned author, speaker, and owner-operator of the largest platform for entrepreneurs on YouTube, Valuetainment. We have grown in this short decade from, like I said, one office and 66 licensed agents to over 16,000 licensed agents, a reach of over 49 states, Puerto Rico, and Hawaii, and over 130 offices nationwide. We are the fastest growing financial marketing organization in the industry, as I mentioned earlier, with over 116% annual growth year over year, where our nearest competitor is just over 2%. So clearly, we are doing something right. I'm sure you would agree after looking at those numbers. So let me get into the next slide. I want to talk about, yes, class now in session. Our mission, right? Saving America by doing the impossible. So I want to talk about some of today's realities and how they're impacting our future financial wellness and foundation. So the first disturbing reality that we really have to face as a people is a disturbing lack of financial education, which leads to poor savings, financial stress, fear, and uncertainty. Now, if I asked you what is the biggest argument in today's household, the majority of people are gonna answer money, finances, right? And it's usually not, hey, we've got an extra $500 left over. What do you want to do with it? Most of the time, it's you spent that last 20 or $50, and we needed that to get through the week. Um, and so, that's one of the realities that we're facing when it comes to learning about financial literacy, financial education, and how to build and grow. The second one is insufficient insurance protection. Over 50% of households do not have individual life insurance policies. Now, what I mean by that is your own personal life insurance policy that you yourself own. Um, Now, while I know that some of our jobs provide life insurance benefits and workers' compensation, a group term policy provided by an employer does not go with you when you leave the job. It doesn't cover certain things outside of the job. It really is just workman's comp. And it doesn't protect you when you're going towards retirement, unless, of course, plan to work until the day you die. Um, it's not going to go with you. So the insufficient insurance protection. Also, one thing that I want to touch on with that subject is, um, there's been a lot of police brutality and even civil unrest that has resulted in injury and even fatality for people. And a lot of times, an insufficient insurance protection allows for um, a settlement in lieu of true justice for the particular situation. Also, we have instances of celebrities, people that we see and celebrate every day that are making exponential amounts of money that die in tragic accidents, and their families, their children are left with nothing because no, they didn't have a financial advisor or someone to tell them, hey, here's something that you need. And how to really invest their money and protect their legacy. So that's something to consider when we look at insufficient insurance protection. Um, are you protected? Are your children protected? Are your family ready for if some sort of tragedy like what's going on right now with the pandemic, people losing their jobs, police brutality, some of the things I mentioned earlier, is your family ready for one of those tragic accidents? So third, alarming consumer debt. The average credit card debt per household is over $16,000. The average American carries 3.5 credit cards. Um, if I asked you, do most people like to save their money or spend their money? Obviously, we live in a consumer driven world. We're going to say spend, right? Where can you go in this world? What TV or anything can you turn on without seeing an ad, for something, buy this, buy that, plus we live in a fast paced world where people like convenience. And so it's so easy nowadays to spend our money because you can just click a button and have it delivered right to your doorstep, you know? And so really, I think that maybe their estimate is probably a little bit low on what the average debt per household would be, because it has shown that we have quite a large spending power, um, trillions of dollars, especially in the Black and Brown communities. But we don't seem to be getting the reverberation of that spending power. We're not seem to be getting a lot of that recycling back through our communities, back through our families. And it is one of the things that is stopping us from building generational wealth. We have to learn how to save rather than spend, and where to invest in order to avoid compounding consumer debt. So number 4, failing Social Security. I don't know how many people know what's going on with Social Security right now? Social Security tax income is projected to be insufficient to pay, and it's currently scheduled benefits by 2016, it says on here. Without any changes, by 2037, the Social Security Trust Fund will be exhausted. Um, I think we are heading towards that way before 2037. The problem with Social Security is we have a lot more going out than coming in. Social Security also was never meant to be a retirement and place replacement fund. It's really only supposed to be supplemental, and only offers up to 40% of what your average income was while you were working. So when you retire, I'm sure many of us can imagine, after everything that's gone on in these last couple of years with this pandemic, what it would be like to lose 60% of your income. There's no way, even if we could rely on Social Security, even if it wasn't failing, there's still no way you could live off of that. So that really goes back to insufficient insurance protection, and not planning for the future, especially when it comes to retirement or disability. Um, and yeah, the last topic I want to touch on here is depleting pension funds. Um, I really didn't know much about pensions before I got into the financial industry, and for good reason. Most businesses have all but eliminated them. They don't pay these out as often because it has become too much to pay out, especially with the failing Social Security and people not having a foundation of wealth already built. Um, you know, with businesses growing, workforce is growing, although it doesn't look like it with unemployment, right? Um, it's a lot for a business to care for a person at 90% of their average pay for the rest of their lives, especially with people living a lot longer. So they have most businesses have switched to 401ks and the like instead, which are most times subject to market losses, and so really don't offer much value in the place of a pension fund, right? It says that 85,000 pension plans have been depleted since 1985, and unfortunately, that isn't very long ago. Um, so I hope everyone has gotten some value so far. Um, I want to go ahead and move forward to the next slide, and I want to ask you guys another question. Tell me what percentage you believe make over $100,000 a year. Now, if I told you it was less than 10%, would you even be surprised? I sure wasn't. Um, let's take a look at this chart, what I have here in front of you. So what if you look at what the 90% has access to versus the 10%, you'll notice a very disparaging shift in the statistics. I would ask the question, who do you think has more access to wealth management companies like Merrill Lynch, Dean Witter, or Morgan Stanley? I'm sure some of you have heard of these companies before in passing. If you're more in the 90%, maybe not as much. I know that I had heard of them, but I wasn't really sure what exactly these companies really did. So I would answer that question with saying, of course, the 10% have more access to these companies and are therefore, you know, uh, allowed access to more profitable and lucrative investing platforms. They have access to mutual funds, real estate investment, and insurance products that yield an interest of anywhere from 4 to 12%. They are typically homeowners earlier in life than those in the 90%, and they're typically able to retire company on or before the age of 65. And this is because they are given the tools to do so. Now, where do the 90% go to learn about finances? Because we sure ain't learned it in school, right? They barely teach you how to write a check. I think you probably briefly remember taking some classes on economics somewhere near the end of high school, right? So not much there. You can go to the bank, but typically, if you don't have a certain amount of funds, the bank won't really work with you. They'll send you to a teller to have a checkings, a savings, maybe even a CD, which it says here 0 to 3%. I don't know any bank that does over 3%. I think the closest would be maybe like a Navy Federal or something like that. And of course, that um, requires special stipulations. So with these bank accounts and these things that build an interest of pennies on the dollar, you're not typically approved for loans. You have no or low access to any of these financial services. And so by the time those of us on the 90 percentile are hitting 65 and retirement age, we're typically still working. These are your Walmart greeters and ticket checkers, uh, unable to retire because, hey, Social Security is not enough. It's 40% of what you brought in. And so we can't live off of that, right? And we haven't learned or been taught to build a foundation for our financial health by utilizing the correct products and services. So we're kind of left in the dust. Now, on the bottom here, I have some of the products and services that some of these companies can provide. This includes 401k, 403b, IRA, Roth, IRA rollovers, annuities, final expense, and long-term care. I don't know how much of these you've heard of, but these are the tools that we use to help people get over from the 90% to the 10%. Out of these products listed below, I don't know how many you may be familiar with, but they can offer anywhere from 65 to 90% market growth with zero losses. So definitely worth looking into. So let me tell you a little bit about what sets us apart from other financial marketing organizations. Our partners, if you see on the right-hand panel of the screen, we've got some of our partners listed there: AIG, Foresters, Mutual of Omaha, Fidelity Life, National Life Group, just to name a few. We work with over 20 top A+ rated financial services organizations. We are brokers, which means that by working with so many different companies, we are able to customize our plans and products according to the individual or the family. We're not tied down to selling specific products for a specific company or hitting any type of commission sales quotas. So no fear of being oversold or getting more than what you need more than what you bargained for. You have people that really have your best interest at heart when you're working with a true financial advisor or financial broker. Um, we're also able to custom tailor each financial plan. Like, for example, if there's a single mom with 2 kids who can afford $25 a month, we can find her the best benefits that work for her and her small family. If there's a family of 5 who can afford to, say, throw 200 or 300 towards, building a financial foundation, we can help them as well, help them maximize their financial value. We also work with the very wealthy who can afford to pump thousands of dollars into these type of uh, savings vehicles in order to profit from what is called LARP, life insurance retirement plans. Um, we don't discriminate on who we work with, but there are also no guarantees. We simply cannot work with everyone. But I do encourage everyone to look and see what they qualify for as far as life insurance, and where they can invest better with their money. So let's look at what the wealthy do, right? So this is a chart from a study done by American National, one of our many top-notch partners in business. So here's what they did. They put $100,000 in the bank, $100,000 in the stock market, and $100,000 invested into life insurance products. We already know that the bank, Green Line, there is considered safe, right? It's a safe way to invest your savings. Growth is very stable, very low, but it's also very low rate of return. Um, when you look at it, you've got a increase of just over $50,000 over a decade's time period. It's just simply not enough growth. It seems too safe, right? Because well, we'll get into that later. Now, the stock market. How many are familiar with the economic decline of 2001, 2002, which is shown on the chart? The market came up, but crashed again in 2008 to 2009 with that recession. I don't know if anyone's familiar. I mentioned earlier how 401ks could be subject to market losses if they are unprotected. Retirement funds can take a hit of half or better during a recession. During times of economic unrest, your money that's in the stock market is subject to a lot of ups and downs, as shown by the red line. For not much more gain than the bank could provide, and also never fully recovering from the losses. It's that's too much for me. That stock market thing kind of plays with my emotions there. So I don't personally would want to deal with it. I guess if you're into gambling, um, but not with my retirement funds, right? So, and let's look at the blue line, insurance products. Now, when you invest in insurance products, your gains are protected. So is your principal. And also, investing in certain types of products allows you to track the S&P 500. I don't know if you're not familiar with the S&P 500. It represents big corporations in the market, such as Coca-Cola, Google, Tesla, very common household names, right? So they typically will still do well even in a downswing. So the S&P 500 tracks those companies and gives you a percentage of all of those market gains. And by investing into those insurance products, you also protect yourself from 100% of market losses. So that means that you can go up, but you don't have to worry about going down. Once you go up, you're stable there. If the market drops, it drops without you, right? You don't drop too. Also, investing in insurance products, a lot of people don't know, they are tax advantage. There is no double taxation. So investing your hard earned dollars from your own paycheck into life insurance products, like an IUL, allows you to take advantage of the stock market gains while also avoiding the stock market losses and pulling your interest and value out without the fear of losing a large chunk of it to the government due to taxes. Um, yeah, there it is. How to properly invest, what the wealthy do to invest their money without fear of losing it. So let's keep working with this model of the two types of people, right? We've got our 90 percentile, right, who make under $100,000 a year. We got our 10% who make over $100,000 a year, right? These two groups obviously live very differently from one another, okay? The 10% are taught to build a foundation. Upon building their foundation, they're taught to put a savings in order. After establishing a decent savings, they're able to invest in buying a home. And from there, they invest in other vehicles, be it mutual funds, IRAs, 401ks, etc. What we talked about as far as investing your money with insurance products rather than investing your money for pennies on the dollar at the bank. Now, in the 90 percentile, which is where I came from, guys, this is my background, so I hope I don't offend anybody, but we're pretty much taught to do things very differently and very wrong. I can personally attest to this, and it may sound familiar to you too. We're told to get a good education, find a great job, right? When you get your job, they give you some paperwork, tell you, here, a 401k for your retirement, invest in this, right? That's pretty much all they tell you. They don't show you how to properly fund the 401k. They don't tell you that it's subject to market losses. They don't really give you any information on it at all. A lot of people even leave their jobs and leave their 401k there, getting hit by the market over and over. By the time they realize that they need to move and transfer their money, there's hardly any left. So after that, after you work, you invest your money into your 401k towards your retirement, you got to find a home, right? But we're typically not buying homes like the 10 percentile are. We are mostly, for the majority of us, are renting a home or apartment. The next is to take whatever you can scrape up, whatever you can budget in, after you start living that minimalist lifestyle, trying to pay your rent or your mortgage for the home that probably has you upside down on your debt. You try to stuff what you can into savings, right? But we already talked about savings at the bank, which is pennies on the dollar, so you're not really getting much. And finally, if you somehow get around to it, you start to look at trying to build a foundation, but now the foundation is on top, is so heavy, weighing you down to try to hold on and save on to enough money to build a foundation on top of everything else that you already have, which we know foundation goes on the bottom. But you know, this is how we're taught, and most, you know, most people don't really realize that the foundation of wealth is life insurance, right? So before I go into why and how life insurance is used as a tool for building foundational wealth, let me ask you, what would you say are the two biggest threats to building a financial foundation and accumulating wealth over time? Don't worry, I'm gonna give you the answer. The two most threatening things to your financial health is losses and taxes, which we talked about earlier in our other slide. When you invest like in 401ks and banks and these other avenues, you are subject to losses and taxes. So if there was a way to eliminate those, wouldn't you consider taking advantage? So let's look into it. You'll see IUL, Index Universal Life Insurance, right? So how this works is this eliminates both losses and taxes, right? And here's how. With the IUL, right, you have two buckets, right? You have the insurance bucket, which is your death benefit. And for this model, we're going to say that it's a 500K, right? $500,000 death benefit on your insurance, okay? Your second bucket is your cash value. This is also known as your living benefit. Life insurance is not just for death, okay? There are benefits that you can use for your life while you're living. And for this model, we're going to assume that you have $250 laying around every month to invest, right? Which actually the average household does once you go through your budget and your financial planning. So we split the 250 between the insurance death benefit and the cash value living benefit. Towards establishing your foundation, now what grows in your cash value bucket over time is tax free, right? Because you're investing money that you've already made. So your principal amount is protected. Your savings is safe, right? It tracks the S&P 500, which also gives you a strong upside potential. We talked about earlier in our last slide that with the S&P 500, you're able to tap into some of the larger markets, access their gains, and none of their losses. And also, of course, it grows tax-free, which we already brought up before. So that is how essentially you eliminate losses and taxes from your savings and your retirement funds by using life insurance. So also you should know that any value left behind in your cash value bucket, should your time come, will be transferred to the beneficiary through, the estate. it'll go towards your family estate, and subsequently, you'll be leaving behind generational wealth and financial abundance that isn't subject to being taxed or taken. Um, so let's talk about this. If and when the breadwinner passes away in the 10th percentile, they've got this foundation that I just showed you in place. They get that 500K check, right? So do you think that they are worried about tapping into their savings? S&S doesn't stand for Social Security. That stands for Savings and Save. No, they don't have to tap into their savings. They don't have to open their safe. They don't have to sell off priceless family heirlooms. Okay? They don't have to put their home on the market. They can pay off their mortgage. You know, they don't have to worry about who's going to take care of them now. It's already taken care of, right? It can come out of the check that they receive from the life insurance, right? So, and they really don't have to mess with their investments. You know, they don't have to pull from them. They don't have to cancel them out or anything like that. Their investments will be rolled down to their beneficiaries, to their children, their family estate. So essentially, in the 10th percentile, by building the foundation, they inherit and pass down to their family good financial habits, wealth, and for generations, right? Now let's look at the 90 percentile. If and when the 90 percentile loses the breadwinner in their family, the average funeral cost is anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000. If they had a foundation in place, it'll be completely depleted and tapped out. But we already, discovered that more than half of American households do not have a foundation in place, do not have proper coverage. So that's out already, right? Their investments are going to fluctuate, right? Because they never built the foundation and know how to hold that stuff steady. Now, you lose a 401k because that came with the breadwinner and the breadwinner's job. Like I said before, if you have insurance through your job, that's wonderful. Of course, everyone should have workman's comp. Everyone should be covered in one way or another. But that does not go with you when you leave that job. So you lose that great job, you lose that 401k, and you leave your family with little to nothing. A lot of families have to resort to selling off their family homes or lose it in the process because they're not able to keep up with the mortgage after losing the breadwinner in their family. And once the savings is depleted from bills and funeral costs, if there's even enough savings to cover that, the average family will or has been reported to report to car washes, food plate sales, and what's been a huge thing lately is GoFundMe. GoFundMe is not a life insurance plan, so GoFundMe is not a financial foundation. It is subject to huge taxes and fees for any money that you make on there. So a lot of times people go and they make a decent amount of money and then they lose a huge chunk of it to not only the fees for the site but the taxes from the government. And oftentimes it's just sort of a lot of work. And who wants to do that? And they're in the process of grieving an important family member. So basically, in the 90 percentile, being uneducated about money, we are passing down, inheriting to our children and our families poor financial habits, debt, and generational poverty. the 90% child aren't bad people. You know, we really either weren't taught correctly or not at all. And so this is why it's important to get the type of information out there. Um, everyone knows how to build generational wealth versus generational poverty. Um, I hope everyone found some value in this information. This is the last slide we have here. So we're coming to the end of our presentation here. Please feel free to reach out to me if there are any questions, or you found anything beneficial or valuable, would like to learn more. I'm available for bookings. You can reach out to me via phone, email, social media. Check us out at Black Balance Fitness on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Pinterest as well. Find us on YouTube at Black Balance Fitness TV. And now I believe we will open up for Q&A.
Wow, great information. Right now, I don't see any comments that came in. Just Javier out there was watching saying, preach, great information. But for me, here at both sides of the conversation, I'm about my people. And I have a lot of these people who come on here and they teach financial wealth. And I know we focus on the 90%, but I always have to hone in on my people, the people that we're working on in the community, the people in these impoverished areas who socially, economically impacted by this classism and this capitalism and a lot of the isms that's affecting us. So we have to be straight front and up front. And every time I have people on here, I'm always going to make sure, as you guys become brokers and you're doing stuff to talk to our people, I got to make sure that you guys understand the expectation from me, as a person also who has some financial backing and understanding how this stuff works. I hold you guys accountable as our people start reaching out to you guys to make sure that you educate the people right, you put them in the right places so that they can be successful financially. So I'm always challenging the people that come on here, because a lot of times we learn this stuff, we get into the corporations and we get behind these organizations and sell. And it really doesn't work for our people. So one of the things that I like to hone in is when we educate these people about financial literacy is the steps to first eliminate the debt, right? I don't want people investing, wasting their money, trying to do all of this stuff without paying off the debt. The fastest way to build wealth and to be able to invest is eliminating debt, setting a budget. The insurance thing that you talked about is very personal to me. I know a little bit about this insurance thing, and I know you have the powerful presentation about the variable investments of life insurance. But here at both sides of the conversation, my position is always I'm looking out for the people that I know that need it the most, that's impacted, the people that you talking about making the GoFundMe's, donate, and all of that, right? So what I'm always telling them is I want them to get term life insurance, a 30-year plan, $1 million to $2 million policy, 12 to 15 times their annual salary, right? Because those policies are affordable, they straightforward, and they can help people, right? A lot of times these people come on here and they want to sell whole life policies. Nothing against whole life policies, but I understand the realities of it, right? And the one thing about me is I hold Property Pimps accountable, okay? That's one thing about me. If you don't know about me, you know, I call out the Property Pimps. And typically what happens with a lot of these insurance agencies, they come to our community and they sell people on the fact if you get a whole life policy, you can use this money to pay for college and buy a house and all of this stuff. And what they don't tell you is the premiums, okay? The premiums on those policies over time will cost so much that the people cannot even afford the policy and they lose the policy. And sometimes in those policies, there's hidden little clause that the policy is not good for 3 to 5 years, different things that affect our people, right? And we know a lot of our people in our community, we don't really go deep and thorough and ask the right questions. So again, I just want to make sure that I let the people know when you guys come see her, she's going to make sure you get into the term policy. She's going to get you guys a $1 million to $2 million policy for no more than about $99 a month. that can actually impact the family.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes,
Because that has
term
to happen.
policies. I'm glad that you brought that up. I didn't even think about including both in my presentation, and actually, you just changed my whole setup. Now I got to add a whole nother slide in there about term policies, because absolutely, a term policy is certainly the way to go. IULs are good; they're great. You know, like you said, they do have certain stipulations. Now, there's one thing you mentioned about increasing premiums. That's not always necessary on an IUL. And there's also some new benefits and features depending on which companies you work with. Like you said, it's a lot of intricate information, but that is what's good about being a broker is you have access to so many different companies, and they're really competing. So once you figure out, hey, here's where problem, and you start to focus more on the companies that are doing things to eliminate that problem, then you start to really get sort of some competition going. So that's one of the things that PHP has really done as far as with the carriers. We have made it such a competitive platform that they've had to introduce all new features and things for our clients. So there are different riders and benefits that you can add to your life insurance package to make sure that you are protected. If you want to renew your policy, like you said, life insurance goes on two things: age and health, which are constantly moving forward. You're not getting younger, you're getting older. So, of course, if your age and health is declining, you're getting older, it's going to cost you more in the future. Now, we've been the way that we've tailored our policies to custom families, we've been able to sort of push the insurance companies to allow for certain riders on certain policies where now you don't have to worry about when your child turns a certain age, or they're going to have to go and get a medical exam or anything like that. That's already in their policy. When my daughter is 8 now, when she turns 25 and she wants to renew her policy, she doesn't have to take any medical exams. She doesn't have to get, her rating will be the same as it is now as an 8-year-old healthy child. So there are some different ways around the different things, and you just got to get in there and see what's best for you and yourself. But yeah, absolutely understand and respect what you say about, poverty pimps and people just coming and trying to sort of sell you a dream or sell you a product. That's sort of a thing in the energy in the industry is you want to be mission over commission, right? So we're focused on the mission. We're focused on helping people. We don't have to focus on helping the company. We're not tied to any, like I said, not tied to any type of commission quota or anything like that. So we really can focus on what our communities need and what type of products and services are best for them. Absolutely, I would suggest going with term policies. I have a term policy myself. So yeah, anywhere 10, 20, 30-year term policy. It really builds the most cash value. And if you really can afford to invest in it, stuff that thing full of money and get your insurance, get your interest up there. You're building it tax free, like I said. Your tax advantage. So the taxes are already paid on it. You don't have to pay to pull that out. And you're building way more interest than you would at any bank in any type of account that they could offer. So absolutely, definitely valuable
So yeah,
information that you put out there.
yeah, I mean, because the thing about me is that's how I am, right? I don't sell my people nothing that I wouldn't do. I have a term policy, it's great, $2 million, nothing. I have work insurance, life insurance through work, but like you said, I'm glad you said that. We have to have our own policies. Our black and brown community is the highest hit when it comes to first to be fired, first to be laid off, and this pandemic showed how black and brown community was the first people to be laid off. So again, you have to have your own life insurance policy on your end. Put it in your budget. I tell people before you pay for cable, before you pay for cell phone bills, before you go out and buy Gucci product and everything else, make sure that your life insurance policy is put in there. So when the time comes and our loved ones go, we have the resources to build that generational wealth and be able to protect our families. That's how I am. So again, I understand you talking about the competition. I know it's competition, but you as the sister here, I'm holding you accountable to make sure. Forget the competition. It's your responsibility to make sure that our people, when you talk to them, get the right policy and make sure that you explain to them the right things that they need to be looking out for from the different policies. So I'm holding you to that, and I know you will because you're a good sister. But I have to put that out there because one thing about me is I don't play about my people. Sure. You could come on this platform. Right. I tell anybody, you could come on here and do whatever you want to do, but you're not going to play with my people when it comes to helping them out because we already have a big trust issue in our community. Just because we look like each other, we got to make sure we do the best thing for our people so that we can rebuild this trust and we can make better decisions to help build this generational wealth because it's needed in this country right now. So glad to have you there. Then we're going to jump into this investing. Okay, I had a couple people come on here, and I'm going to keep pushing this to all my brokers who are selling retirement. We know this 401(k) and 401(k) thing is not the best, right? And typically, a lot of our working class people in the brown and black community, 75% of them don't properly invest in their retirement, right? They just hear that their company's putting 6, 7, 8% in there, and they think that's it. They get to retirement, it's not enough money. So my job is to make sure people like you and other people out there that's listening, that's into this investing realm, we make sure that we educate our people. We want them to put 15% of their gross income. 15% of your gross income is the goal. If you can afford it.
Also match. You also want to match. If your company is going to match you at a certain level or a certain percentage, you want to max that out. One of the things that's one of the big things that we push for 401ks. If you're in the job and you still have the 401k, how to properly fund it is so important because you can think, oh, I got this 401k and I'm building so much, and you're not matching what the company is putting in, and you're not building nearly anything. So absolutely, I'm glad you brought that up.
That's definitely great information. Yes, if you have a corporation or a company you work for, Twitter, Google, whoever, Kaiser, one of the larger employers in the Bay Area, whatever. Make sure if they are matching you dollar for dollar, 50 cents on the dollar, those accounts, you make sure you max out because you're getting more bang for your buck. But we also want to make sure that when they come see you, that they putting 15% of their gross income into their retirement, and we want to make sure that they maxing out their Roth IRAs, okay? We want to make sure you pay the taxes now, so as you retire later, you don't get hit with all the tax penalties. The other thing is we want to make sure when they come see you, I'm holding you. When you set them up with a retirement plan, that you make sure that 65% of their investments are index funded accounts. Okay. Now I saw your presentation. I didn't see anything up there about index funded accounts. And I had an argument with another guy on here, my buddy. Yeah. I had an argument with my buddy Art about this. And I'm gonna keep pushing it because you are in this industry, and to all our people out there that's selling packages or selling retirements, okay? We have to make sure that our black and brown community is getting intentionally informed right when it comes to investment. When we're talking about portfolios, okay? 90% of the time when they start talking about investment, they want to sell them mutual funds. Nothing wrong with mutual funds. The problem is there's a lot of service fees with mutual funds, and over time, it'll cost you a lot of money for them to manage those accounts. So we want to make sure that 65% of their investments are an index funded account, because when you talk about the 90% and the wealthy people in this country that's doing certain things, they don't tell you. But 90% of the CEOs and wealthy people in this country, majority of their investments are index funded accounts because over the long haul, they always win. So we want to make sure our people win. When you walk into most trading facilities, they never talk to you about index funded accounts, right? As soon as you tell them I want an index funded account, their eyes get big. They're like, "Oh, what you know about that?" Yeah. I don't work in mutual funds. So again, I'm holding you to that, my sister. So anytime you work with somebody who's talking about investing, I want you to make sure whatever they do, whether it's bonds, whether it's stocks, whether it's whatever, forex, whatever they want to get in, I just want you to make sure that they look at it and make sure that their portfolio is 65% funded in the index funded account. That's my job to make sure that you do it. So when my people come see you and they talk about setting up account, the first thing you're going to remember is, you know what? I want to make sure 65% of your account is an index and fund account. We're here to educate. We're here to empower our people, and we got to give them the right information. We're here to give them the right information.
That's for sure. And I just want to make sure that I reiterate that PHP standing for people helping people. We are all independent licensed brokers, right? But we're all people from different backgrounds who are looking for a different way. One thing about PHP agency that really sparked my attention whenever I first signed on with them is that they are over 51% Latino. And they're one of the most diverse agencies in the business. And you really want to see who in the financial industry is pushing for Black and brown people, it's us, because we are Black and brown people. That's pretty much who's in the company. So, of course, we're out there looking out for our people. We're helping our people. We're called people helping people. And that's, what we're there to do. Financial literacy and explaining these different nuances, why you want to invest in certain ways and in certain things, like you mentioned, indexed accounts, and properly funding your savings and your retirement. When you get into a meeting with me, with one of my directors, we are going to give you a full financial analysis. We're going to explain to you all of your options. We're going to explain to you that, you want an index, you want an indexed account, but here's why you want that, because it offers these advantages as opposed to what if you went to one of these big name companies or one of these companies that has to sell that particular company's products. They're not going to tell you any of this. If you could have access to Lynch or any of these other financial advisors, they're only going to tell you what's going to benefit them. You know what I'm saying? They have an agenda. Our agenda is to help people get the correct information, is to help people invest properly and wisely. So there's there's really no, it's not like I said, we're mission over commission. It's not I got to make this sell kind of thing. That's not what I got into this industry for. I did want to gain my financial freedom and my financial independence, more financial knowledge in general to this industry so that I could help people in my community learn all of the financial information that I learned to pull myself up out of the mud, and if I can do it, anybody can. So it's like, absolutely. I appreciate all of the different jewels that you drop and the different advice that you give people, because absolutely you want to, it's almost like going to a car salesman. You kind of want to know a little bit about what you want and what what you're looking at before you go in there, because they'll sell you a lemon, right? So I understand the concept, but no lemons being sold here. Fit Financial and PHP Agency, we are absolutely legit and here for the people, most especially Black and brown people, because those are our own families, our own friends, our own communities, our own business partners. Like I said, we're over 51% Latino. So
well, that's why we had you here. That's why we glad we had you here. As long as you understand where I stand about my people, it's all good. I see you get it. So I know when my people come see you, they're going to be put in the right spot, because I have to make sure, because that's one thing about me is, I want to make sure that we actually get this thing right. And I want to break this fear. And I want people to start investing, and I want people to make the right decision. But if we don't educate people right and we put them in the wrong spot and they lose, it's going to have that negative connotation in our community. Don't do this. I lost money. And again, we need our young people to start investing early. You guys listen today, start investing. You working for a corporation, call your HR department. Start making sure that you are investing into yourself. Don't just sit there and say, hey, I have a retirement because they putting 8% of my check in here. You have to add to it. Okay. I get a lot of people people who are getting up to retirement and they finding out that they don't have the financial means to be sustainable. And then we see those people working in Walmart, Targets, 65, 70 years old, still working. We're going to stop this. Okay, we're not going to continue to let this continue to happen to our people. And it starts with conversations like this tonight to make sure that we get the information intentionally and we protect the integrity of the investments and what we are doing when it comes to giving this information to our people. So I'm gonna keep pushing that. I'm glad you get it. I feel good tonight because sometimes I can be like, hold on, don't be selling my people down the road. So I like you guys, Bono. Definitely, I appreciate you, doing this because this is important. And we also got to talk about the estate planning process because we got to start getting our people to make sure that we had a proper estate planning process so we can properly transfer this wealth to our young people and to our other family members. What's happening in our Black and brown community because we don't handle our business, we don't know this information. Grandma passed away, and we lose all of our wealth to these poverty pimp lawyers. Okay, they go to probate court, and the lawyers in the court steal all of the money, and the kids walk away with nothing. We cannot further do this. We need Black ownership, and we need our Black and brown community to understand the proper steps that they need so that we can secure this wealth, so we can make sure that our generations coming under us has an opportunity to get a head start. You get what I'm saying? And I only preach this because this is what I live, okay? I never bring people on here and I don't talk about stuff that I don't live. I want to make sure my granddaughter get my financial wealth. I want to make sure my daughter get my generational wealth because I want to give them the start I didn't have, okay? And it starts with programs like this. It starts with people like you. Continue to do this work and make sure that our people get the information and we get them hooked up in the right way so that they can be prosperous and they can live a good life. And when they do leave, they leave financial wealth to their family. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you again for coming on tonight. This was very important, very powerful stuff you're doing. Continue to impact the community with your information. We're going to do everything we can to continue to shovel people your way to come connect with you. You're here in the Bay Area, so that's perfect. Your number is going across the screen. All your fitness and all your information is going across the street. If anybody's reaching out trying to find out how to get a hold of you, we'll definitely make sure that we get them connected with you because it's very, very important that we have people like you who look like us, who represent us, and make sure that we do the right thing so that we can be financially successful. So just want to say thank you again, Lamitra Edwards, for coming on. Very powerful conversation. Looking forward to the future. And if you want to come back on and do any other presentations as new information roll out, we know there's new legislation happening. We got to start getting ready. And I want to work with you because, again, we got a big treasury change that's happening in this country. We're going to cryptocurrency. If you guys aren't paying attention, they're starting to get rid of all of the coins. The paper dollars are starting to go away. EDD is sending out EBD cards. All of the welfare, everything is going credit, okay? There's going to be a big financial shift in America. And we got to get our young people and we got to get our elders of the community up to speed with this cryptocurrency because there's a change that's going to be happening. And we got to get them equipped and get them ready so that they're not taken advantage of and they understand how this stuff works and they know how to protect themselves. So I'm looking forward to working with you in the future on that. We definitely need to put some conversations around that and, make sure that we impact our people. So if there's anything else you want to say before we go, just let me know. If not, I'm going to just go ahead and start closing out. Is there anything you want to talk or say, or are you good?
Just to say thank you so much for having me on your platform. I truly enjoyed myself. I hope to come back in the future and even invite you on my platform. Look out for the Financial Fitness Forum as well as the Mentality Masterclass at Black Balance Fitness TV on YouTube. Fit Financial Services. We are looking to open an office here in the Bay Area this year. So look out for that. And I will be back in the future to more disseminate this information, get it out there to our people. That's my mission. That's what I'm here to do. I plan to help thousands, if not millions, of Black families change the trajectory of their financial future. So there you have it.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, sister. Just happy to have you up here. Before we close out, I just want to say a couple of words to community. I know you guys been seeing a lot of these incidents that's been going on, some of these despicable crimes, these hate crimes going against our Asian community, and these robberies and things happening to our elders of the community. These type of things we cannot allow to happen in our community. This is just not cool at all. And it seems to be a wave going on. But again, We got to stick together, work together as community. A lot of people are, going both ways with this. My thing is this: now another community has been impacted by this hate. Some of the things that our community, the Black and brown community, has been dealing with for years. Now it's happening to our Asian community, and it's going to come to a point that we all have to stick together and understand hate is hate. It don't matter your race. We got to stick together, because a lot of times what happens is when things happen, people want to say, oh, they don't want to get involved until it happened in their community. And I'm not saying that none of this is right or okay. But again, when things are happening in our community that's impacting the Black community, the Latin community, the Asian community, regardless of who it's happening to, we have to stick together. We have to stop putting our blind eyes on and saying, hey, that's that community. Because again, when we don't stand together in unity, it'll happen to another community. And right now, our Asian community is getting hit hard. And again, we stick with solidarity with them. These acts are despicable. We don't support it. And people that are caught for doing this, we got to hold them to the highest standard when it comes to criminal prosecution. We cannot have our elders in the community afraid to go out and shop, afraid to be out in the community because they feel they're being preyed on. This is not cool. It's not acceptable, and we don't stand by that. And if I catch somebody doing it, we gonna have a problem, because I don't rock like that. So I had to put that out there. We got to do better, and it starts with impacting our communities. And I just want to say thank you to a lot of our leaders who are stepping up, doing things. I want to say shout out to Cheryl Davis, Collective Impact, YCD. These organizations are trying to do everything in their power to get resources to the community so we can help impact the community, get some of these young people that are doing some of these crimes opportunities. And we have to get our allies in different employment sectors. We have the highest unemployment rate in the Black and brown community. We have to figure out a way. We have to figure out a way to impact our community with resources when it comes to employment. We got to get these numbers out to help these people so they're not doing desperate acts for financial gains, because attacking our elders in the community is not the way. And it's going to be a shift. And these conversations about this economical issue and these things with this classism and this thing with this capitalism, we're going to have these conversations. And I'm hoping in the future we could get some of our people who are in economics and different backgrounds. We have to look at a new way of how we're going to invest when it comes to education, when it comes to getting these kids ready. It's so many allies that reach out to me and they say, well, John, a lot of these people, they're not ready. They're coming to the work environment. They don't have the skills. And I think what's happening is we need a shift when it comes to this education. We need to have some real talks about it. And I think incentivizing education is going to be the way to go, because the way we're doing it, giving kids all of this debt to go to school, they can't find a job, they can't pay the loans back, is also part of the problem. I think if we find a way to incentivize, pay our young people to go to school, go through the apprenticeship type programs where they can work and learn and earn money, is the way we might have to go to this model, so that we don't have to deal with these crimes. These young people are young parents sometimes. Some of these young people are living with families who are already financially strapped. And these young people, they see their counterparts, the whites and other different people in the community with things, and they want it. But we got to figure a way how we could pay them and educate them so that they can be productive workers in the work environment. And we also got to change this. We're just helping people to get jobs, because there's a lot of organizations out there that's just like, hey, we're going to give them a job. But we got to educate these people, teach them how to keep a job, how to have sustainability in the workplace. We got to start having some real conversations. I look on the EDD website, there's millions and millions of jobs that are available, but people are not qualified. So we have to figure out, how do we step back and start intentionally paying people to get educated in these qualified positions so we can fill them and get people to work, because there's a lot of people out here at work. There's a lot of people with different talents, but how do we transition and teach them to get in these fields so that they can go ahead and impact the community? We got to get resources. It's time for the conversation. We'll have it here, but we got to start thinking different, because this type of stuff is really impacting us, and you see it. You see it. For people that don't see it, look at the crimes, look at what's going on. Our young people don't have opportunities. Some of our middle-aged community people don't have opportunities. We just had a brother on the other day. He went to 25 interviews, can't get a job. Again, to our allies out there, to our people who say they with us, they support the Black and brown communities, it is your time now to step up. Be that difference maker. Make the change. Give these young people an opportunity, even if they don't have all of the qualifications. There's a lot of resources wasted. We could put in educating them, on-the-job training, and we can help impact the community. So I'm going to leave it alone. I get passionate about this stuff because I see what the problem is, and I think if we just change our thinking and we pivot a little bit and hold some of these elected officials accountable, we could do some amazing things. So with that being said, I'm going to end that. This is our Educational Thursday. If you would like to present one of these Educational Thursdays, please reach out to us at both sides of the conversation.org. You could go on our website. You could book. We're looking for HR people. We're looking for job recruiters. We're looking for different people to come on this platform to help educate our people. What's being looked at? What are the employers looked at when it comes to resumes and skills and people who have opportunities? We need you guys to come on here to educate the community, give them the gems. We got to build up the community. Sometimes it takes a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but together we can make a difference and impact these Black and brown communities because it's needed and we need the support. So if you're an ally, please look out. Make sure that your HR department is doing everything in their best interest to make sure that we help impact this community. With that being said, we're going to follow on to this Sunday. For you guys that's around this Sunday, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have our Black Panther Party come back, the Legacy Keepers. They're going to be talking about these inequities and some of the equity issues in healthcare. They're going to come back and answer some of the questions that they left off from their last presentation. Should be a powerful conversation. They're going to be talking about nutrition. They're going to be talking about health and wellness, this mental health thing that's in our community that's really impacting us. All of these massacres, these shootings and things that's happening. We can't keep saying that mental health is an issue and we're really not addressing it. Okay, I go on and on about this mental health thing. I'm reaching out to some phenomenal people. We're going to really have a great conversation about this mental health. We have to do more. Sitting in the office is not going to work for this community. We got to get people engaged. We got to raise the salaries. We got to get these cultural appropriate people involved so that we can help impact our community with this health crisis. It is a crisis. Okay, this mental health crisis in America is just as bad as this pandemic that we in. And again, if our elected officials can make changes in the educational system for COVID, for our nurses and different people that's in those programs, to lower restrictions, to get more people in it, I think they could do the same thing when it comes to our Black and brown clinicians, psychologists, and psychiatrists, people that's in this industry, lowering the standards, making it more accessible, raising the wages so that we can get the right people in these communities and get more funding there. If we know this is a countrywide issue, there's billions of dollars that we have to get to these communities. We have to get the security for these people. We have to get help. We got to get in our schools all around. We got to address this mental health issue in America. It's a problem, and we're going to keep fighting it. That's what we're going to do here at Both Sides of the Conversation. And then next Tuesday, we'll have another show of our hidden gems where we highlight our Black and brown businesses and people in the community that's doing phenomenal things. And we're just going to keep pushing through. We're not there yet. But we're coming out of this pandemic, and this is a good time to get our mental health, get our finances, get our employment things in order so that when we come out of this pandemic, we can be hitting the ground running and making impact in our community. So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, watching this segment of our Educational Thursday. We had a phenomenal sister, Lamitra here, who gave great gems and good information to our people. Please reach out to her, use the resources, make a difference. And if you guys didn't see me earlier, reach out. Go pick up the book, Smart Money. What a tool here. There's a lot of gems and good information here. We have to support our Black and brown business. We have to support our sisters, and that's what we do here at Both Sides of the Conversation. I got to get into this book now. I got to start reading it. But I want you guys to go out and support, get the book. We got to educate ourselves. It starts with a little bit here, a little bit there to make a difference, to impact our community. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and end tonight's broadcast. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Continue to support us as this platform grows. Continue to do the right things in the community. When we see our young people doing things that's inappropriate, you be the change. Step up and see them and say something to them. We can't be quiet anymore. It's time to speak up. When we see things happening that's not right, we got to take the lead and go ahead and do the things that's important. And thanks to all my brothers, Omega, Uncle Damien, Corey. I know you guys seen the video. We are back in juvenile hall now, mentoring our youth, some of these high-risk youth that's out committing these crimes. We are going in there, volunteering to work and help them young people. And it's just going to be very good as we continue to move on. So just want to say thank you to those brothers for giving up their time and staying committed to our young people. All of the brothers, sisters, uncles, fathers, and cousins in the community. Reach out to our young people, show them some love. This pandemic has also affected them and they need some love and encouragement. We got to tell these young people we here and we support them so that we can change their paradigm and their mind and their thinking and understand that they support it to make change. So with that being said, I'm going to end it. See you guys on Sunday. Have a blessed week.